In my role as an art director, it's important to be able to express ideas clearly to a team and to present creative concepts through storytelling and persuasion. Effective communication is the linchpin to the success of an individual's career and to organizations of any size. As a child, sometimes I struggled to read my audience, divulging too much information or failing to notice when my tangent had totally lost the interest of my listener. It often left me feeling frustrated. With experience comes knowledge and the ability to better assess my audience, deliver messages that were meaningful to both of us, and to pick a channel well suited to the subject matter and recipients. This can be achieved by looking at what effective communication is. What's really happening during a conversation? It's helpful to be aware of the components. Both people are encoding and decoding messages in real time, so it's very likely that some of the information will be missed. It can be very difficult to listen and express yourself at the same time. If you add to the mix external distractions, nuances of body language including tone and eye contact, there is an overwhelming amount of information being shared, and so much that can be misinterpreted. After college, I moved to Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Although a mere 300 miles from where I grew up, there were definitely some cultural differences which sometimes caused me to decode information differently than intended. Pop was called soda and drinking fountains were called bubblers. But the one that caused the most confusion was what meal times were called. At home, meals were breakfast, dinner, and supper. In Wisconsin, meals were breakfast, lunch, and dinner. This experience and others helped me to become more aware of what I mean and what the other person understands are not necessarily the same thing. We must take care to make sure that our message is clear and being interpreted as we intend. When I landed my first job as a designer, I found that I had an aptitude for understanding our clients' audiences. But looking back, I didn't necessarily apply the same understanding to my managers and peers. Work that encompasses the field of information design and strategy very often involves working in a team setting. If there is a golden rule of successful teams, it has to be that no single factor is more critical to the generation of effective teams than the clarity and consistency of performance standards. If you don't know where you're going, how will you know when you get there? The best example I can give happened many years ago. A small group of friends and I designed a novel piece of sports equipment. We decided that we would finish the development, proceed with manufacturing, and take the item to market. We were all really good friends and despite what followed, are still good friends. Our venture failed miserably. Even though we had complementary skills, had worked successfully together in the past, and really trusted each other, we had too vague of goals. We did not do the hard work required in the beginning that would have made our group successful. In past team experiences, I had almost always assumed the role of tension releaser when I worked with the group. Through our reading and working through the subsequent team assignment, I've learned that I have an ability and quite enjoy playing other roles in the team, such as task leader, social emotional leader, and central negative. Teams that work remotely are becoming more and more prevalent. I too work remotely, and the number of remote workers increased 103% since 2005. 50% of U.S. workers have a job that is compatible with working remotely at least part of the time. In addition, 25% are currently working remotely full-time, and the number grows every day. Working with teammates who are in a different location can present some challenges. Without their physical presence, it is harder to interpret meaning because so much of our communication is nonverbal. Virtual channels of communication become more important and our reliance on effectively written communications more vital for remote teams. One of the most profound things I've learned is how persuasion can help me communicate my ideas and recommendations more effectively. I've been frustrated again and again over the years when I've made proposals for innovative initiatives and they've been rejected or ignored. I grew up with the impression that being persuasive equaled being not quite trustworthy. This was because I had an uncle who was extremely charismatic and could sell ice to Eskimos. While he was incredibly good at convincing people to part with their money, they usually ended up feeling duped. I had mistakenly associated persuasion with unethical behavior. Now I understand that that simply isn't true. Ethical persuasion plays a role in successfully sharing ideas and is necessary in getting leaders to champion them. As Mr. Cogger states, persuasion is not about convincing or selling. Rather, it is the art of listening and negotiating. Furthermore, I understand why my previous proposals were ineffective. I've learned that I need to tailor my presentation to the decision-making style of the person I'm presenting to. Effective communication not only benefits my career, but it leads to more success for my clients, as well as the company I work for.